Me. I've been saying this a lot lately, and it's true. One of my favorite movies of all time is Blue Jasmine with Kate
Oh,
Blanchett. I love Kate Blanchett. She's like seriously one of my heroes and idols. So anything that she's in, really. Um, I guess it depends. I think my like taste in film and TV is very eclectic. Like I'm often just like at home watching Friends, or I'm like going to the cinema and watching things that I would never think to see, but just want to try it out. I just like to kind of draw inspiration from all different, yeah, genres
I
and
love that. First
mm,
of all, Blue Jasmine is such an excellent film.
yeah,
Um,
it is.
she's such a powerhouse in that.
Yeah,
And I love that too. I think that's what's so cool, especially, these days when there's so much different content on television. You can get all the different types of genres that you want to pull
yeah,
inspiration from.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. All right, let's do it. Let's dive into it. Okay. In your own words, how would you describe Shelby?
Uh, Shelby is a pageant champion from Texas. Um, but she's harboring a lot of guilt and secrets and grit that she's keeping from the other girls, and uses her optimism as a mask to protect herself from people seeing her for who she truly is.
Oh, well said. That's beautifully said. Um, okay, so when we finally get to see Shelby sort of take that mask off,
Mm.
and kind of start to accept herself and let go, it's really powerful. In your opinion, what has Shelby learned most about herself on the island?
I think what Shelby was kind of learning the whole time was to think for herself. And I think
Hmm.
that's why at the end of episode 7, when it's 7, right? Oh, no, or 6, when the plane comes over and I'm
We
like
like binge
retracing
so
now.
fast.
When the plane flies over and you see that she doesn't actually want to leave the island. I think it's 7. It's 7. Yeah. You
I'm
see the
sure the fans will let us know. They're like,
yeah. Is it 7, guys? Help me out. You see the plane fly over and you see that she's not excited to go back home. And I think it's because she's sort of letting go of the shackles of her parents and other authoritative figures from back home. And she's starting to think for herself. And I think that's what she's learned the most, how to just think for herself, because she's never done that before. She's always done what is asked of her, and she's always respected her duty until the island.
and I feel like it's so common for so many young women and women of any age to have to
Yeah.
kind of take a beat and say, what do I want? What do I
Yes.
deserve? Like, how do I feel?
I think that's really hard for most women, because I think we're just so used to being told what to do and how to look and how to be, and I think it's not in our nature to ask for things and to ask for what's right for me and what makes me feel good and what do I want in life. Like, it's not something that's taught to us very often. It's
Yeah.
obviously getting a lot better now, but I don't think it's in our nature to really go for that sort of stuff. So I think it's important that we see that.
100%. I think that's what's so interesting about these women being on the island is that they're away from society and they can finally start sort of allowing themselves to, think for themselves and putting themselves first. And it really shows you how many societal restrictions are put on young women that they
Yes.
like, once they're away from that, they can finally sort of begin to have those realizations.
Yeah, and that's what, like, where that whole thing comes from, is like maybe it's better being on the island, because you see it, like, yes, the island's so terrible, but then you see these women like completely just flourish in
Yeah.
a way, in a weird way, but they do, in a way they become more of themselves, and
Mhm.
you realize that, oh my God, we were so upset that they were like stuck there, and we felt so bad for them, and now we're kind of like, gosh, maybe Gretchen was right. I don't know.
I know. Is she a villain? Is she a genius? We don't
Oh,
know.
it keeps
Oh,
changing.
oh man, but that's life, right? It's complicated.
Yeah.
We all live in the gray. It's like, what do you want? So, what do you want most that Shelby has learned to like, that she takes away from her Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I did not explain that well. What do you want her to like?
I think I know what you're saying now.
You know when you're like saying something and you're like, oh God, no, where's this no, where is this going? Oh
Whoa,
no.
yeah.
Oh no, 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 man, no. What do you want her to learn on the island? What do you want her to take away and apply to society when she finally joins back to society?
Oh, I mean, I definitely want to see her. She's a very resilient person already, and she is very tough. But I want to see that toughness and that resilience that she brings to other aspects of her life, to her home life. And I want to see her, stand up to her dad and to her parents, and be comfortable with who she is. If when it comes to the teeth or her sexuality or her hair, whatever it is, I just want to see her like sit in front of a mirror and just smile. That's what I want for her.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How do you feel, or what do you think Shelby and Toni learned from each other in their relationship?
I mean, I can't speak for Toni, but I can safely say that I think what Shelby loves most about Toni is just this freedom, and that Toni has. That Toni has this freedom and this fieriness. I think Shelby sees Toni and is just initially just so jealous of this person who's so free and just so fiery and says what she wants and is opinionated and can have all these, thoughts and express them. And I think Shelby sees that and is just like, oh my God, that is just, wonderful.
Admires it. Yeah. And I think it's so true. We do that so much as people that sometimes when we don't realize how much we admire other people, that's where the friction sometimes comes in to play.
Yeah.
Because it's like that. I don't know if it's a jealousy, but it's like, it's this admiration that we may not be able to pinpoint yet.
Yeah, because if you're not comfortable with acknowledging that that's something that you don't have, then it can be hard to just admire something innocently without having anything like that going on.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's such a beautiful relationship to kind of watch and see how they do learn from each other and how there's such a respect there towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
You spoke a little bit about, Shelby's teeth and her kind of issues with her teeth. And we see a little bit in episode 8, kind of where that comes from and her discussions with her dad about getting her teeth fixed and all of that. But then we kind of let her, she cuts her hair. She's kind of going full out towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
What do you feel like the retainer truly represents for Shelby? Is that what you call it, a retainer? I feel
the flipper. I would call it a retainer, but I think it's called a flipper with the teeth on it. The flipper. I think it represents a lot. I think it represents how the secrets that she's holding. I think it's not the teeth isn't the secret. I think the secret is like herself. And who she truly is, and the fact that she's hiding it from people and won't let people see. It's just such a reflection on who she is as a person. And I think, and you hear her talk about it with Dot after Dot kills the snake, and she's saying, it's covering up all of this ugliness. Like it's an ugliness that she thinks is ugly to her, that she is insecure about, but it's not just the teeth. I think it resembles a lot of different things in her life.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful metaphor, and I think the show has a lot of that going on. Whether it's the goat with Martha,
yes,
I feel like that's a praise to Sarah Stryker, who just has just weaved in these really lovely kind of nuanced, moments.
Yeah.
So obviously, the show does such a wonderful job showing kind of the strength that comes from female relationships. What do you want audiences to take away knowing about the power and also the complexities of female relationships?
I think it's very cool to see all these 9 women together, isolated away from male counterparts that are completely just forced to do everything on their own and lead on their own, and see what kind of leaderships happen during an all-female environment. And it's empathetic, and I think that's a very powerful thing that women have, is this empathy for other people, especially in our leadership skills, is great. I also think a thing that this show does, which is really great, is it normalizes diversity in female relationships. Like, you see these 9 different women from different racial and socioeconomic backgrounds all come together and find unity and harmony within each other while they're surviving. I mean, it's not always harmonious, but more often than not, they're killing it. Like, they're doing really well, and I think it's a reflection on how women work with each other. And I think there's this terrible idea that, you know, when women are together, it's all bitchy and it's all gossipy and it's all rah. It's not true. You know, it's just it's what society wants to think of women, and it's just not the case. So it's cool to see us to see this show and to see these women just be like boss and human. Like, they're not completely boss, like they're all beautifully flawed, and you just see them just be human, which is great.
Absolutely. I love that. And too, I do think when it's not harmonious and there is kind of a kerfuffle or an argument that takes place, they also have that, you know, that strong intuition to kind of say, okay, what does the other person need right now, so we can kind of create that harmony again.
Yeah.
And there's that work that's put into it.
Yeah.
Which you see, which is really cool.
Yeah,
I love that. Okay, so obviously you guys got picked up for season 2.
Woo!
Congratulations.
So excited.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I've had the pleasure of talking to, you know, most of the cast, and y'all are so lovely, and it seems like you really enjoyed working with each other and are excited and eager to get back to it.
Yeah.
What are you hoping for Shelby for season 2?
What I'm hoping for Shelby for season 2, I mean, definitely more Shoni. I think we were just, yeah, I think it was the tip of the iceberg there. I think there's a lot to do there. I think there's a big storyline there that I'm really excited for them to go through and go down. I feel like at the end of the entire series, I want to see Shelby just like shaved head, just rocking it, teeth out, like doesn't give a fuck sort of thing. Like, that's what I want for Shelby in like the future. But for season 2, I kind of want to see her, you kind of see it towards the end of the season after episode 8, that she becomes more comfortable with her sexuality with Toni, and you also see her keep that optimism that she had in the beginning, which I like. I like that she didn't just use optimism as a mask and then just shed it and then leave it. Like, it's still ingrained in her, and it's still a part of who she is. So I'm happy that she's kept that going. But I think there are so many loose ends that we need to tie up after the episode 10.
Oh my gosh, so
many unanswered questions. I'm so excited to learn about all of the answers, because I don't know either. Everyone's always asking me, like, so what happens? I'm like, I don't know. What do you reckon?
No.
I'm on Twitter, like, reading everyone's theories, and I'm like sending it to all the girls, like, this is so it. Like, getting so excited about it.
What has been your favorite theory, your favorite fan theory?
Oh gosh, there was one theory that Gretchen was Dot's mum, and I'd never thought about it.
Oh my gosh, I just got chills, kind of.
I know.
I never would have thought of that. Whoa.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, what? Because at the end of Dot's episode, you see her talking to Gretchen, and everyone's like, what the? And it's just like, no one.
Yeah, why is she the one in there with her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
So that's the tea.
And that's the tea. I love it. That would be very cool. I wouldn't put it past the show to like just throw in a like mega twist like that.
Yeah, neither would I. But we also need to think about, at the end of episode 10, there was that whole Twilight of Adam situation. Who knows what's going on there? So many things.
So many things. Oh, so fantastic. All right, so obviously you work with amazing, talented women on the show. You've got your creator, Sarah, who's just killing it, all your lovely co-stars. But is there someone else either in front or behind the camera that you either absolutely want to work with one day or you want everyone to have on their radar, just showing the support out there?
From the wilds?
No, not from the wilds.
Oh, just anyone that I want to work with in general.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's a hard question.
This is the manifestation time. This is the time of the show where we manifest.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Easy. Kate Blanchett, obviously. I mean, love her.
Yeah.
The director of episode 8 of The Wilds is a woman named Tara Nicole Weir, who was just incredible, and I would love to work with her again. She was just excellent. Who else? Oh, there's so many. I can't even think. There's too many. It's too hard.
But well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. There's more women just making a name for themselves on the scene. I think it's cool you mentioned one of your directors from an episode. I think it's fantastic also how much opportunity is being brought to female directors, young female directors for TV shows, and it really becomes such a platform for these women to then go on and have these kind of great careers.
And it's also so inspiring for me as a young person starting out in this industry and seeing these women succeed in this male-dominated field. For me as an actor is like so inspiring and empowering and just like, just amazing, just role models. I'm just so, in awe of them. It's just so cool because it's hard. And like, I can imagine it's really hard to crack into that. But they did, and they're great, and they should be doing big things because they're amazing.
Yes, absolutely. It's so cool. And like, how cool that this show is female centered, and like you said, it's not from one female's perspective, or it's not one female point of view, or this show really for me showcases how there's not one right way to be a woman.
Yes.
And it's so important to have that type of representation on screen, and then to know that this talented force like Sarah is behind it. It just feels that much authentic and real. And
it's because it's coming from someone. That's another great thing about having all these female writers behind the scenes. Obviously, Sarah Stryker and Amy Harris and Jamie Tarsis. Like, it's coming from them. Like, they are like, it's not written by all these old white dudes. Like, then it's so real. It's just like I was reading the script and I was like, fuck, like that's it, like on the money. And I don't think you couldn't get that if it was a man writing it. It's experience.
100%. And I think that we're seeing that, and we're seeing audiences can sniff out the BS. I think.
Yeah.
I think they're like,
we don't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like someone said Jodie Comer would be great. You and Jodie Comer would be fantastic together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be a killer. I don't know, movie, TV series. I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Are there any questions? I think I've got my girl Mimi on some questions to see if you want to pull any questions from the audience.
Oh, how do I do that? Just from the comments?
Let's see. I'm not going to answer that question. There is a question.
What is
oh my god! Oh yeah, I mean, people are listing some great actresses that you should collaborate with.
Oh my gosh, yes. DM me.
Let's get it going.
Oh my gosh.
Season 2 date? We don't have a season 2 date yet, do we? No.
I mean, I don't. I have no.
No, we don't know about that.
But
do you guys know when you're going back into production?
I'm not sure exactly. It'll be soon though.
We don't. This is a crazy time. We don't know anything.
That's the thing. I'm always reluctant to say, like, we all have an idea, but we're reluctant to kind of say when we think it is, because especially with COVID, like
we're in a pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Someone asked, what's your favorite moment from a film?
From a film?
Yeah. From any film.
Oh my god.
A moment that sticks in your mind that you just kind of replay you know?
Okay, I don't know why this just popped into my head. I have no idea why this just popped into my head. But Emma Stone's scene in La La Land when she's talking to Ryan Gosling and she's like, but maybe I'm not good enough.
Oh,
about
yeah. Like,
wanting to. I know that. I just remember watching that and being like, that just made me love this movie. And I think about that scene actually quite a bit. Clearly, because it just was the first thing that came to my head. But I've only seen the movie like once or twice. But yeah, I love that scene.
You know what?
It's
That's
so
interesting. That scene killed me in the theater. I've never like hyperventilated, cried so much.
Yeah.
And my husband looked at me and he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "This is just so real, relatable."
It's so real. It was just like, oh, it was just perfect. And it's just like, I feel like everyone can see themselves. I think at that point in the film, like you could imagine yourself in her shoes as well. Like you'd seen everything that she'd gone through and you were just like, oh my God, like this is so, it felt like you were going through it with her. It's just amazing. And then she had that scene and you're just like, oh, and then you break down as well because you've been like holding on to all that stress for her.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful scene for us to have that reaction. Yeah.
Someone wants to know what was in the wilds, what was the hardest scene to film?
Hardest scene to film. Probably the scene where it's in episode 2 where Rachel flings the mirror off the cliff and then we all scramble to get Leah off the cliff.
Yeah.
That was hard just because we all had like harnesses on and we had to like get it on the right angle and it was just taking a long time, but it was a lot of fun. And then I guess in the earlier episodes when I had to use the flipper, it was quite difficult because I don't have missing teeth here, so having to take it out with the one that had the teeth on it and then put it back in with one that didn't have teeth on it so I could click it into my mouth, and then there was another one. It was just like so many like different frames. But yeah, I think some of the most challenging scenes were the most rewarding because you like leave the end of the day and you're like, whew, did it, you know?
It's so true, and that's great because someone was just asking what was the process of the flipper. And you just intertwined 2 questions, baby. That was great. No, it's so true. I feel like the whatever in life that you're the most nervous about or doubtful about when you actually accomplish it, that feeling right afterwards is like it's a high. It's just
I love it. I love performing under pressure. Performing under pressure is when I do my best work. If everyone's a bit too nice to me and it's all a bit like too cushy and easygoing, like I don't know what it is. It's not going to work. But if I'm like, I'm not getting the scene and it sucks and I'm a terrible actress, I'm never going to work again. Like that's when it happens. I don't know why. But I like it. I enjoy it. So those moments I live for. I live for moments where I'm like struggling in a scene or someone's being quite hard on me. I'm like,
like, give it to me. Yeah, no, it's so
like,
true. You need that little extra motivation, that extra to like, sometimes I feel like the stakes are high.
Yes. Because it's like, this is important. I need to get this. Otherwise it's not good. I need that risk. As my dad always says, everything is sweetened by risk.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, me too.
That's like a fun way of saying high risk, high reward, but I like that better because I like that better. That's nice. I totally feel that way, and I think that's what The Wilds was. I think putting these 8, women from all walks of life on an island together, a show created by a woman in this industry is a quote unquote risk. And I think that the more that these shows have the success that they do, it's so important because it shows that it's not risky. It's what people want, actually.
Yeah.
It's the sweetest type of risk.
Yes, it tastes great.
It's just so delicious. Just like that goat, baby.
Yes. That actually did taste delicious.
I mean, goats.
It wasn't real goat, guys.
Oh my gosh, Mia. Well, this was so fun. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I hope we can, talk again soon. And we love the Wilds at the Cherry Picks. And just stay safe and have a lovely rest of your day. I know it's kind of in the late morning there for you. So
yes, get started.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right.
Stay safe.
Bye.